Hello and welcome to the Film Pulse Podcast. This is episode number 495. My name is Adam Patterson. With me today, we got Kevin Rakestraw. Hey, Kevin.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going okay. You know, I don't really have any complaints at the moment. How about you?
No complaints.
Nice. Good. This week on the show, we'll be talking about Alexander Payne's latest, The Holdovers. We'll also be going over some we're watching on the watch list, and this week's new releases in theaters, VOD, and Blu-ray. Thank you so much for joining us. New Say by the 90s came out like last week, and we have our lineup ready to go for our made-for-TV Christmas episode that we're going to be recording next week, so I'm pretty excited about that. I get so jazzed up over these made-for-TV Christmas movies that we do every year. It is so much fun. It's a tremendous holiday tradition that we've developed.
Nice.
Yeah. So let's get into our review this week. We're talking about The Holdovers. As I mentioned, this is directed by Alexander Payne. I have a synopsis here. A curmudgeonly instructor at a New England prep school is forced to remain on campus during Christmas break to babysit the handful of students with nowhere to go. Eventually, he forms an unlikely bond with one of them, a damaged, brainy troublemaker, and with the school's head cook, who has just lost a son in Vietnam. Kevin, we'll start things off with you. What were your initial impressions of The Holdovers?
I gotta say, I was pretty excited for this because I am a sucker for Paul Giamatti
Yep.
being a curmudgeon.
Yeah.
And especially if that curmudgeon is like an intellectual.
I
As he is here. And it's just, it's fun to watch. Like, it's just fun.
will agree with you on that, and I will also add that I always I like the New England prep school vibe and the fact that it's in the 70s too. That's just like just everything about the setting is something and Christmas. So like, man, definitely the vibe check on this one is 100% for me.
Yeah. I'm just 100% in because of everything. And I love that it's a team up of essentially him and Divine Jordan Randolph. Just those two are the adults that are left with these kind of asshole rich kids.
Mm-hmm.
But, it turns out that one of them is more than that. Because I was a little bit worried at first because I was like, man, these other kids are really fucking annoying. And then they get rid of them. So thank God. Because I got to say, for me, surprised that Dominic Sessa, I thought was fantastic in this. I don't even know who he is.
Neither do I. Not familiar with him.
But man, he dominated this movie.
Yeah. He was a very complex character. A lot of layers going on in this one. This was I don't know why I expected it to be a little like more lighthearted than it was. I don't know why I thought that. Like, I knew it was Alexander Payne, so I knew that there was going to be a like sort of a melancholic undercurrent, but this is a pretty depressing movie. Like it's pretty heavy in a lot of ways. Now that's not to say that it's not funny, because it is actually very funny. At least I thought so. I enjoyed the comedy in it quite a bit. But yeah, there's a lot going on, man. These characters, each one of them have, their own kind of troubled past that gradually becomes revealed as the film progresses. There's no exposition dumps or anything like that. Like, you learn about the characters very organically, and I liked that. I think that everything in this movie is just extremely well done. It's very well shot. The performances are on point. I love Divine Joy Randolph. She's great in Only Murders in the Building.
Mm-hmm.
And she's,
the Holdovers at fucking Dolomite. She fucking killed it.
Yeah, I mean, she's a scene stealer for sure. Like, she just just dominates every role that she's in. She's so good. I wasn't sure about her accent in this. Her accent kind of comes and goes in this, which is kind of weird, but that's really the only kind of quibble I have. Yeah, I was 100% on board with this movie. From the outset, actually, when it uses the old intro, the Universal intro, and I just, man, I love those opening titles.
Dude, the whole opening of this, you got the location is gorgeous. The shot compositions are gorgeous. It's fucking snow. You got everything. You got everything that you could want from an introduction into, New England Christmas at a boarding school. It's shot on film.
Yeah, I was going to say.
It looks so good. Like that whole slight introduction with just the Damien Jurado song playing, and you're just like, yeah, I want to spend the next 2 hours here.
Yeah. The authenticity of this, it feels like a movie shot in the 70s. They did such a good job. And there's little subtleties in the performances that to me make it feel like, specifically with Dominic Sessa's performance, where I don't know how to completely articulate it, but it felt like the dialogue was written from a perspective of somebody writing a movie in the 70s, if that makes any sense. The way that it was, the way that they spoke, the way that the dialogue was delivered, it felt like I was watching a movie that was actually shot in the 1970s. Things. That's a
good point, because that does happen occasionally where you're watching a period piece and someone will say something, and you're just like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think that's time appropriate.
It was specifically one thing that kind of really accentuated it for me was when the kids, the four boys, when they were interacting with each other, it felt like a 70s movie, the way that they would bully each other and stuff like that. It just felt very authentic to me, and I really liked that. I also just, any kind of movies that take place in an academic setting in the 70s and have that kind of folky score, I'm kind of into that as well.
Yeah.
You got some flutes going here, and it just really did a really good job with the score too.
I just like you, the idea of you slowly perking up in your seat, oh, it's an academic setting. You perk up a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it takes place in the 70s, and you're like, oh, uh-oh. And then as soon as a flute comes in, you're elbows on the knees, yep. I like this.
Yeah, pretty much.
The flute's bringing you home, huh?
I don't know, man. There's kind of a coziness to this movie that really did it for me. Because it's snowing and storming most of the time, and they're kind of they're in this school, which is it's a large prep school, but they're kind of they're isolated into certain areas because they turn off the heat in the school for the winter break. So they're pretty much stuck in these small areas of the school. So that kind of adds to the coziness of it, I think.
Yeah. I gotta say, I had a feeling that I was going to enjoy myself. Like I said, Paul Giamatti, seeing the little bit of clips that I saw of him in this, I'm just like, well, if anything, I'm going to enjoy my Giamatti time, right? I'm at least going to get that. But I got to say, I came out of this liking it and enjoying it a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah, same. I like Alexander Payne. I think I've liked pretty much all the movies that I've seen of his. I haven't seen Downsizing. I know that's a lot of people hate on that one, but I've seen most of his other movies, and I like them all to varying degrees. None that I outright didn't like. But with that being said, I kind of went into this one with not really any kind of expectations. I saw the trailer and I was like, oh, that looks pretty decent. An academic film in the 70s, looks like maybe some coming of age elements, people learning from each other. It seemed like, from the trailer, you can kind of gather like, oh, this student's gonna, teach the teacher. The teacher's gonna learn from the student.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They're gonna learn things. They had some preconceived notions and assumptions of people, and those are incorrect. I mean, yeah, and that's part of this movie is like, even as I was watching, I'm like, you kind of know, but yet, even with it being as predictable as it was still,
yeah. I mean,
because it was executed so well.
Yeah, it's all about the journey, and like the scene when they went to Boston and stuff. Like it just that they do a lot of interesting things. It's not dry. I mean, it's got a good pace to it, and where things go. I mean, these are just really endearing characters. Like all three of the main characters, you want to learn more about them, and the fact that you kind of get drip fed these little bits of information about who they are and what brought them to this place, and it was all just really interesting. Like that, I was kind of endeared by the whole thing, and like again, like lots of deep subject matter here. Like you have Vietnam happening, there's class issues here with like the fact that Paul Giamatti is like a teacher at this prep school. He went there, but he has this kind of disdain for these rich kids, and then everything, like there's issues with mental illness, there's issues with death, like all of these things, abandonment, so lots of really big topics that it gets into, and I think that it all does it very tactfully, and
and I think also it does it all very organically, like you said.
Yeah,
it's not like
there's no bullshit like messages tacked on or anything. Nothing feels forced. It all just kind of it feels very natural, because these are issues that all of us as people deal with, and I think a lot of times these issues are all exacerbated over the holidays, and that's something that happens in this. And yeah, I just think it's just really well made. It's just really well done.
No, I 100% agree.
Yeah, it's really solid. So highly recommend it. It's available on VOD right now. It's one of these it's like a premium VOD thing, but I would say that it's definitely worth it.
If you've been doing your Christmas shopping, you probably got those promotional credits.
Oh yeah.
A couple bucks off on that rental there.
Yeah. Save up those Amazon things you get. All right, let's go ahead and give it a score. Kevin, what are you going to give the Holdovers?
Man, I give this like a 7.5. Maybe. I think I'm non-committal on every single rating. I've noticed that. I can't pick a number anymore.
I'm committing to an 8 on this one. Very, very little as far as criticisms on it. I had a really great time with it. I don't know if the rewatchability is very high on it, but everything else, man.
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like this could be.
It could be a Christmas.
Is it like that Christmas rotation?
Mm-hmm. You could put it in the Christmas rotation.
Especially if you wake up one morning and it's snowing outside. Man, pop this.
Yeah. The only thing that would hold it back for me on that is like it is a bit lengthy. It is over 2 hours.
But that's why I'm saying the snow. You're not going anywhere.
True. Good point.
Got snow coming down. Pop on the fireplace. Get a cup of hot chocolate. You got 2 hours to spare.
Also, I gotta say, like, they establish like, okay, we're not getting any new food orders in until after the winter break. So whatever's in the kitchen, that's what we're gonna have. The meals that she made looked so good to me, especially the Christmas,
The ham?
the dinner. Oh my God. Like I was salivating over that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but you spiral a ham, I'm in.
Oh my God. Yeah.
If that ham's not spiraled, I don't fucking care. I don't want to see it. Get out of my face. You spiral it, I'm in.
That's the good stuff. Yeah. Yep. Cool. All right.
You remember how you used to put like some brown sugar in between each spiral?
Oh yeah. Oh my
Lacey
god.
plays that. Mm.
Oh god, yes. Man. Oh, I'm so hungry. All right.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's the Holdovers. Check it out. Let's talk about some of what we've been watching. Kevin, it is your turn this week, I believe.
Oh man, I got another Christmas movie for you. One that I just learned of recently. Can't remember where I learned about this, but I'm glad I did. It's on Tubi. Where else would it be? It's from 1961, directed by Quentin Lawrence. It's called Cash on Demand. This is a Christmas bank heist movie.
Hell yeah.
Okay, and it's kind of like it's like a play on A Christmas Carol, but as a bank heist.
I'm loving the sound of this.
Yeah, Peter Cushing, he's the bank manager. He's an asshole. He's Ebenezer Scrooge. He's just a piece of shit. He's just everything that you expect, from an Ebenezer Scrooge bank manager type, right? And, starts his day off, everything. Andre Morel comes in. He's the charming bank robber, but he disguises himself from the the insurance company. He's testing them, about their procedures and their security and all those things. So he kind of has that presence of you guys have to, be on your best behavior. And then of course he parlays that into, I'm actually robbing you. None of these people are going to help you because they fucking hate you. And let's do it. And it's just this taut 80 minutes of him. He has Cushing's family held hostage. And it's very methodical. It's action packed, but there's not really action. It's just all dialogue, back and forth. It just, just this meticulous, well thought out bank heist. And it's fantastic.
Yeah, this
Can't
sounds
recommend it enough.
This sounds great. Looks great. I only saw, I think, one movie of note, but it's a big one, and that's Godzilla Minus One.
Here we go.
This is directed by Takashi Yamazaki, Takashi. I don't know why I said Takayashi. This is the guy who did Returner, if you remember that one.
What?
Returner, yeah, from 2002, the one that was the Matrix ripoff, kind of, with lots of bullet time and crazy CG everything in that one. I remember liking the Returner a lot. He also did the Parasite adaptations, the live action adaptations, and Lupin the Third.
I just want to say there's something about that Returner cover. I'll never forget it.
It's so ridiculous.
If you just show me,
it's so ridiculous.
Even if I was 72 years old and you show me that post, I'll be like, oh yeah,
Returner. That was an over the top one. But anyway, Godzilla Minus One feels significantly different than Returner. We'll just put it that way. This movie is incredible. It's easily one of my favorite movies of the year. Probably might be my number one as of right now. It takes place directly after World War II, so it's kind of in the waning. It begins in sort of the waning days of World War II. I think it's 1945. It starts in. So you have this very recent kind of post-war setting where there's you bombed out cities and villages and stuff, and on top of the citizens just trying to rebuild after the war, you got Godzilla coming in and running them. Godzilla's running amok, and they did such a good job of harkening back to the OG, the original, the 1954 Godzilla, where it feels authentic and kind of vintage, with the setting and everything, but at the same time, obviously, bringing the technological advances into it as well. The movie's gorgeous. The sets, the design work looks awesome. The sound design is freaking amazing. And of course, the action, the kaiju action here is out of control. Some of the best Godzilla set pieces I've ever seen. The heat vision that he has in this is so freaking crazy. This is definitely one of the best kaiju movies I've seen overall. It puts any of the English language Godzilla movies to shame. Like, it's not even anywhere close. Shin Godzilla might still be my favorite, but this is very, very close. I mean, it hits all the right notes. It's huge. It's a big, emotional, loud movie that has a lot of really deep character work in it too. The main character is someone who he was a kamikaze pilot, and he basically chickened out, and he's been like grappling with the fact that he, betrayed his country. And not only that, but he pretended that he had a problem with his plane. So he landed at this little airfield where they had mechanics fixing the planes, and that's where Godzilla first attacked, and everybody died. All the mechanics were killed except for like one, and then this one guy. So he's dealing with that also. So there's this like sort of PTSD element to it, and then he ends up meeting with this woman who finds an orphaned child, and they start raising this child. So there's like that element as well. There's a lot going on here beyond the Godzilla stuff, and that's kind of how a lot of these Japanese Godzilla movies are, and I mean that's how Shin Godzilla was, and that's one of the reasons I like Shin Godzilla, and that's sort of how this one is too. But there's still plenty of big action sequences, and they're nuts, and Godzilla looks incredible. I highly recommend this. Go see it in the theater if you can. It is 100% worth it to see it on the big screen. Godzilla -1. I love this movie. It is so good. You're gonna love it too, Kevin.
Hell yeah, I'm very excited for this. And another movie that I was very excited for different reasons. But I finally saw the watchmaking movie, Unrest.
Oh,
the Swiss
yeah.
movie from Cyril Schablin. The original title, Unruh, because that's what you call a balance in a mechanical watch. It's called the Unruh wheel, which means unrest. This is about this like cartographer, socialist from Russia that visits this little town in the Swiss Jura Mountains. That's kind of like it's known like the main thing is watchmaking. Like that's all this area does. It just produces watches. It's like what everyone's job is. It's like their main export. It's everything for this area. And while he's there, he's working around these all these workers and everything. All the workers are kind of like anarchists because it's kind of playing off of that idea of watchmaking is, as you can imagine, extremely meticulous and is really regimented. And so what would be the opposite of that? That would be anarchy, and that's what these employees want. And this is at a time where the reason that I'm watching this, or that I finally did it, is because I'm kind of doing the same thing, but not as intrusive or as domineering as it is in here. But like the workers are like walking around with like stopwatches and timing people and like how long it takes them to do something and trying to like increase productivity. But the thing that I found really interesting for me, like I don't think this movie is going to be for everyone, but for me, like all of the tools and stuff that are used, it's a group of women that are making like balance wheels. So the hairspray, you pin it at the collet onto a balance wheel. Everything that you have to do, it's a very lengthy process. But all the tools that they were using to do it are the same tools that you essentially use today. So as soon as they got out the tools to like vibrate a hairspray, I was like, oh yeah, I have that tool. I still use that same tool. It's the same fucking thing. And then they were like pinning it at the collet, and I was like, yep, that's exactly how you do it. That you still do it that way to this day.
It's crazy.
Which is insane because this takes place in like the 1800s.
Yeah.
And it's just like all the technological advances that have happened. And it's like, yep, nope, they're doing exactly everything the same exact way that you do it now.
That's wild. And
It was weird to see like in a movie where it's just like, oh yeah, I was doing that yesterday at work.
heh.
That's weird.
Cool, and that's Unrest. I don't have anything else.
Oh, okay. I got Violent Night, another Christmas movie, the one with David Harbour beating
Yeah.
people up with Santa Claus.
Yeah. What'd you think about this one?
So this came out on Amazon Prime, and I figured this will be a good Friday night movie, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't it be? And I gotta say, man, I was surprised. This is the right amount of ludicrous, stupid fun that I was hoping for. Like it's ultra violent, but it's also over the top and silly in its violence.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like it had just the right amount of comedy for me that it just worked perfectly. It's so dumb, and I loved it.
Yeah, I had a great time with this movie. I really enjoyed Violent Night.
It was so much better than I was expecting, and just all of the action worked so well for me. Especially that, like, Santa's main weapon is the hammer.
Yeah. Yep.
Why? Which is fantastic. And then the chimney trick was something else. Because God, that was disgusting.
That was so. It was so incredible. Crazy. I loved that scene. This might be one to add to my holiday rotation, actually, because this one's just so much fun.
It is. I thought it was fun as hell. I was chuckling throughout. There's a lot of chortles coming through that one. The only other thing that I saw of mention, because I, of course, did my rewatches of It's a Wonderful Life and Prisoners and, all the holiday staples. One that just decided to throw in there, because it's holiday times, is 2000 Maniacs from 1964. Herschel Gordon Lewis.
Yeah, classic Thanksgiving horror movie.
Madman crazed for carnage. And I don't know what it was about this movie. Just like the depiction of it, or like how everything like played out. I don't know if it's just because it's the 60s. 60s violence always seems, I don't know, there's always this like, because it's so like low budget, a lot of times it kind of feels like you're watching something that you shouldn't be watching.
Yeah.
Like a snuff film almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's unsettling. And this one is even more unsettling because they do some fucked up shit in this movie that I was not prepared for.
Yep. In 1964, too.
Yeah. They're just chopping limbs off, barbecuing it, just having a barbecue with people. Would you be drawing quarter a guy? Like, this movie was brutal. And it was unsettling. I found it really disturbing.
Yeah, I think this is a classic in a lot of ways. A horror classic.
Yeah. I mean, it's annoying in some parts because of the acting.
Yeah.
It's a bit much. Yeah. Especially some of the Southerners just really playing it up.
Oh, yeah. A little bit
they are having a time.
Exploitation.
Yeah, yeah. But man, like the twist at the end. Normally, you're like, that's dumb as hell. But this us is like, hell yeah. Exactly what I wanted. Fucking Tubi. Where else would you see this? Tubi.
Where else?
Tubi probably does have snuff films on there. You just
don't. Yeah, they're just buried deep.
They're buried deep. That's where they got their start. Tubi. Fucking. There's probably cursed shit on there.
I imagine that there is. There probably is. Cool. That's 2000 Maniacs. Herschel Gordon Lewis. Check it out on Tubi. All right. Let's take a look at what we have in theaters this week. Really, the main one looks like it's Poor Things, which is the new Yorgos Lanthimos. Pretty excited about this one. Any excitement coming from you on this?
Yeah, I think so. Although I will say, I don't know. I think the days of going to movie theaters is over for me.
Nah, something will get you back in there.
I don't know. It's just such a long drive now.
How long is it of a drive for you?
It's like a 30-minute drive
Oh,
or more.
okay, yeah, it's 53 minutes for me. So,
Ooh.
so,
Aye.
yeah. So it's got to be something special to get me to go at this point.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yeah, that's the big one. There's a couple smaller ones from the look at of it, but I don't know like what is getting any kind of wide release. So we'll just move on and talk about VOD. Starting with December 5th, we have America's Family. That's a documentary. We got Betrayal, looks like a war movie. We got Werner Herzog, Radical Dreamer. Looks like a documentary about Werner Herzog.
Interesting.
Pet Cemetery Bloodlines is getting a regular VOD release. That came out on Paramount Plus back in October. Abigail is coming out. Bullies beware. Abigail is here and she's got an axe. So she's gonna maybe kill some people with an axe. I don't know. I don't even know, man. But you better beware if you're a bully.
Yeah, I would be.
I would also beware. Everyone Will Burn is coming out. That's one that I caught. I feel like it was forever ago. It's pretty good, pretty wild. It's creepy kid movie. I think it's a Spanish film if I remember correctly, but I also remember it being pretty good. Subject is coming out. Not sure what that's about. It looks like a camera lens here, so maybe it's a documentary about documentaries. I don't know.
I just love that, the movie titles are getting so bland and boring that it's just Subject.
Yeah. Seems like a
Subject
placeholder.
We'll get around to it.
Better Days is coming out. Raging Grace.
Oh boy.
Raging Grace. What is
That's two things that don't normally go together.
An undocumented Filipina immigrant lands a job as a care worker for a terminal old man, securing a better life for her and her daughter, but dark discovery threatens to destroy everything she's strived to hold dear. I'm fairly certain I've seen this movie, but I don't think it was called Raging Grace.
I was gonna say this.
I mean, I for sure.
Sounds really familiar.
I for sure saw a movie that. I mean, I don't see. Was it ever called something else? Let me see here. Or maybe it's a remake of something else, because I for sure saw a movie that has like this exact same plot line. I don't know.
I feel like that is we've had a lot of horror movies revolving around, like immigrants or undocumented workers.
Yeah.
That could be the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like I'm kind of watching the trailer here, and it doesn't actually look familiar. But man, I for sure saw a movie about an immigrant worker who was hired to take care of somebody, and it was a horror movie.
The secrets, the dark.
Yeah. Huh. All right, whatever. Let's see what else we have here. Also on the 8th, we have The Three Musketeers. There's a subtitle in here to this. What is the subtitle? D'Artagnan. The Three Musketeers, D'Artagnan.
Well, that's just one.
Well, it's part 1, so...
Oh, they're going to go through all 3?
I guess so.
What is it? Fucking origin stories of all 3? Is that what they're doing? Goddamn trilogy origin stories? Get the fuck out of here. God.
Yeah. I guess that's what it is. I don't know. Fast Charlie's coming out. The Portrait. All Souls. Lord of Misrule. What is All Souls? A young confidential informant is sent on a dangerous undercover operation. It's a no-holds-barred look at the vulnerable foot soldiers of the war on drugs and the young criminals who are pressured to work for the police.
Mm.
Sounds like a David Ayer movie to me. And then Lord of Misrule, when the daughter of the town's new priest goes missing during the Harvest Festival, A desperate search begins, uncovering the town's dark history and resurfacing tales of a mysterious, malevolent spirit that demands sacrifice. Sounds exactly like that Dark Harvest movie.
It sounds like so many movies. Every town has a dark secret, and it always gets unveiled during the Harvest Festival.
Yeah.
You know, because the harvesting, and then whoops, you're harvesting something that you didn't want to.
Souls. You're harvesting souls.
Oh God, and it's all darkness.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's what it is. So that's pretty much it for VOD. Let's take a look at Blu-ray this week. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny coming out. I still haven't seen that. I'll probably catch it at some point, but pretty low on my priority list. Young Guns is coming out in 4K. I'm a pretty big fan of the Young Guns movies. Office Christmas Party. The Kill Room. Tokyo Pop from 1988. Blackula from 1972. All Jacked Up and Full of Worms from last year.
Not a good place to be.
I haven't seen that movie. It looked too gross for me. Like it just didn't.
It sounds gross.
It didn't really look like one of those. Just something that I'd be into. What about Criterion's?
We got two. Got a twofer. You got Blast of Silence from 1961, Swift, Brutal, and Black-Hearted, New York City Noir. Yeah, can't count me in doing that. I mean, that's been on Criterion for a while. I always forget about it. And then you got Terrence Malick's Days of Heaven coming out again. The old 4K.
Nice. That's a classic. Love that movie.
Classic.
All right, well, I think that's going to do it for this week. Thank you so much for listening. You can send us your questions and topics to podcastfilmpulse.net. If you could, consider reviewing us on iTunes. That'd be great. For Kevin Rakestraw, my name's Adam Patterson. We'll see you next week.